So Shimano wasn't the only company to release a new 150 baitcaster, because Daiwa has also unveiled their new Zillion TW150. Now 150 for Shimano versus 150 for Daiwa mean two separate things, but I had predicted that Daiwa USA was just going to bring over the Zillion HD from Japan and call it something new, but I was wrong. It looks like the Zillion 150 might be a brand new reel for the most part. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to check out this short promotional video from Daiwa's YouTube page, and then we're going to check out the information on this reel because it's already up on the various websites. So let's go. So your typical cinematic drone shots, Project T. Now, someone had commented that they thought Project T meant TATULA. Project T, in my opinion, because this started way back in like 2010, 2011, the T stands for T-Wing. Then it kind of expanded out. But there's a list of the history of the Zillions. And I don't really keep up with all the Zillion models, so I couldn't tell you which one was which other than the Zillion 1000 and a couple of others. But yeah, we don't care about all these cinematic shots. He's going to show the reel here in a second. I should fast forward this, because there are actually some shots of the reel in this video. Here we go. There we go, finally. Zillion TW150. Silver in color. There's the Magzi boost spool. I think that's pretty much it. Like 10 seconds of the actual reel. The rest of the video was this dude talking. But anyway, we're gonna go over to Daiwa Japan's website and we're gonna check out all the specs on it. All right, here we are on Daiwa Japan's baitcaster page, and there we are, the Zillion TW150 right next to the Zillion TW HD. And it's kind of confusing to me why they would unleash a 150 size reel, but I think I understand why. I'll go over that in a second, but let's check out the info. All right, let's check out the pictures of it first. Kind of blow this section up here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it looks like this new Zillion is a slightly darker silver. So it may not be quite as bright silver as the Zillion 1000. And I believe, if you look at it from the top, I believe the reel is actually bigger, as in a little taller and a little longer than the standard Zillion. All right, let's read about it. It says the true Zillion legend of 150 transcends fish species and borders, beginning a new chapter. The symbol of Daiwa's tough bait casting reels, which began with a 36mm spool, Begins to weave a new legend, opening the curtain on a new blah blah blah. Alright, the adopted braking characteristics are the long cast concept installed with a 36mm spool that maximizes the moment of inertia to maintain power once it starts moving. This reel features a boost mechanism that adds an extra bit of distance in the latter half of the cast based on the mag force Z. Blah blah blah. Okay, all the other Daiwa marketing. But you can see here on this picture that this is considered, I guess, a multi-species reel. You got this guy bass fishing on his boat. Got this guy saltwater fishing from shore. So this is kind of like Daiwa's version of, I guess, freestyle that Shimano has coined, where it's not just for bass fishing, it's actually for multi-species fishing and, I guess, bigger fish. So all your hyper marketing, T-wing system, blah blah blah. But they did add a couple of new things in this Zillion 150 that I don't think they've added to any other Daiwa reel before. Apparently it does have a drag clicker. And here's one of the first things. That is a newly designed tapered T-wing system, further improves the smoothness of line release during casting. With conventional T-wing systems, it was sometimes difficult for the leader not to pass through the line guide, especially using thick PE line. Therefore, a new T-wing system features a tapered shape and an enlarged line guide section. So if you take a look here where the arrows are, on the right there is the normal T-wing line guide, and on the left is the new one that the Zillion 150 is going to have. And this really addresses something that a lot of people complain about with the Daiwa T-wing system, and that's the ability of a leader not to pass clean through. So hopefully this will fix that problem. And then another new feature is, even though Daiwa's got big drag stars already, apparently the Zillion 150 is going to feature an even bigger one. It says the Zion large diameter long arm star drag. And then the 150 is going to have a longer 95mm handle that is not skeletonized at all, I guess, for more power. So here's a comparison. So over in Japan, instead of using number designations like 100 or 150, they use numbers like 1000 or 1500. And with Daiwa, the number designation, unlike Shimano, usually designates a bigger reel itself physically due to a taller spool. So since the Zillion 150 is going to get a 36mm by 24mm spool, which is 2mm taller than the standard Zillion, they're giving it the 150 designation. So it looks like Daiwa is ditching the 1000 or 1500 number system. But there's a comparison against the old 2018 Zillion HD. Let's see, pretty even specs across the board. The Zillion 150 lost a little bit of weight. Spool's a little thinner. Less bearings. And a shorter handle. Strange. Here's some more pictures. Right here, I think you can kind of see that the new Zillion 150 looks to be a little bit longer than the standard Zillion 1000, or Zillion G as they call it here in America. And it says release month September of this year. Here's some more specs. gonna hold fluorocarbon wise 125 yards of 16-pound fluoro and 100 yards of 20-pound fluoro. 215 grams in weight. Saltwater compatible. 58,400 yen. So this is going to be a global model. Of course, they're selling it in Japan as well as America, and Taco Warehouse has already listed the new Zillion on their website. All right, here we go. $500. Let's see what the standard Zillion costs. I think they bumped that price up to $500 as well. Nope, still $450. All right, so right here is a good shot of how the new Zillion 150 has a slightly darker paint job. It's another shot. Huh. All right, so 3 gear ratios available. All the same information. 13.2 pounds of max drag. 7.6 ounces. They would have a weight in ounces here. And no estimated release date. Oh, there we go. Estimated to ship on September 30th, so the end of September. So we got a few months before this new Zillion TW150 comes out. Of course, as anything with Taco Warehouse, these dates of release could change. It could come out sooner or even later. But one thing I noticed, and I did a comparison. If we go to the specs on this Zillion 150, and then if we go to SHIMANO, and if you're still here watching this, I just ordered my Scorpion DC MD this morning. Go to the specs. It seems like when you go to line capacity, the Zillion 150 is going to have the same line capacity as the new Scorpion DC Monster Drive. Even though they have different spool dimensions, the Scorpion is going to have a taller spool, but that's narrower at the same time. So interesting. So turns out that the Zillion's biggest competitor is going to be the much cheaper Scorpion DC Monster Drive from SHIMANO at a much cheaper price as well. So yeah, there we go, guys. The new Zillion TW150 from Daiwa. Personally, I don't know who is going to be buying a $500 Zillion. Maybe really diehard Daiwa fans and fanboys. I'm going to check one more thing here. Okay, I was just checking here. The standard Zillion HD does have less line capacity than the 150. Alright guys, so I'm going to be coming out hot and heavy with the new ICAST releases, as well as, once again, my new Scorpion DC Monster Drive should be on its way to me. Should be getting it early next week, so be on the lookout for that. Alright guys, thanks a lot.